Welcome to the Women's Football Show here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Kerry Pollock, Alison McConnell, Cara Henderson join me here today. Let's have a look at the league table to see how things are shaping up. Rangers reinstate themselves at the top there, level on points. Beneath them is Glasgow City and with Celtic in third. Hearts, Hibs and Thistle not too far behind. In the bottom six is Motherwell, Spartans, Montrose, Queen's Park all tied on points. And at the foot of the table it's Aberdeen and Dundee United. Alison, it was Hearts 0, Rangers 2. Goals from Brogan Hay and Rio Hardy gain Rangers their 7th win of the season and reinstate them back at the top of the table.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting one. Obviously, you know, the last time the teams played in league duty at the tail end of last season, it proved particularly costly really for Rangers. I think that was a game that cost them the title. I think given the form that both teams have been in the opening weeks of the campaign, Hearts had only lost to Glasgow City. I think there was a bit of intrigue about it, the fact it was through at Oriam too. I think Rangers will be delighted to have come through that fairly comfortable and unscathed. I think there's been a lot of chat so far this season that Hearts are maybe capable just of bridging the gap between themselves and the top three, but on the early evidence what you're seeing still is that trio at the top are still a wee bit ahead of everyone else.
Should Hearts have made it more of a stuffy game for them?
Yeah, I think Rangers are just, at the minute, on what we've seen from the opening weeks of the season, I think there are very few teams that are going to live with Rangers. I think they've got a lot of options up front, a lot of goals in them. They're not conceding goals. I think they've conceded one league goal so far to date. They've been scoring. They've not just been winning games, but they've been blowing teams away. And I think Eva Ollard would have wanted maybe a wee bit more. However, I just think Rangers are a level above.
Yeah, well, Cara, Dundee United 0, Partick Thistle 4. Back-to-back 4-0 wins for your side. Did we start to see what type of performances Partick Thistle are able of producing?
Yeah, I think so. I think we were really happy with their performance. I think we were quite dominant from the start, and I think we actually came away probably thinking we should have put more goals in because we've seen how important goal differences can be. So I think overall we're really happy. 4 different scorers as well, which is good. And I think it's just about being more ruthless, which is something that we can work on. But we've got to take the positives of 4 goals, clean sheet away from home, and we've always struggled going to Dundee as well. So I was really happy with our performance yesterday.
Is there a personal goal target for yourself this season?
Yeah, I mean obviously yesterday I got the chance for a penalty, so I wish I'd popped that away. But I think obviously double figures is the first sort of goal in it. It's always just beaten last year, and I think that last year I definitely know myself I could have got more goals than I did. So I'm happy with the start, and I think that it's just about being clinical as a team, but individually as well. Yeah, I'd like to beat my total from last year.
How important is that mentality, albeit it's 4 goals scored, but to always push yourselves to know that you can get more?
I think it's important. I think that it'd be really easy to settle just for a victory in these games, and I think that it's hard because it shouldn't be belittled. There aren't any easy games, but I think we had something like 35 shots on target, or not on target, 35 shots on goal yesterday. That 4 goals out of 35 is not good enough. So we know ourselves that's something that we need to work on, because there's always points in games when it was 1-0, when it's 2-0 that you leave the door wide open when you don't take your chances. So we learned from yesterday, but I think we've got to have the mentality of we always want to keep pushing each other to be better, and we don't want to settle for stuff that isn't good enough.
And it's important to keep that expectation really high throughout the whole season, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously it's sitting here, it was a very tough start to the season. We set off with the way that we wanted to, but slowly and surely I think that we're getting ourselves back into it. I think our standards have been good in training. I think we felt good as a team. We're bonding as well. We had a lot of new faces in the door, and so we really just need to keep going and take every single game as it comes, because as we've said many times, for us there's no easy game, and I think that's got to be the message, that we've got to approach every single game the same way.
Absolutely. Well, Alison, Spartans 3, Aberdeen 1, a fantastic result for Spartans, lifting them out of that relegation zone.
Aberdeen still without a manager. I think that's dragging on for a bit of time. I think maybe a few questions are asked about why they're dragging their heels and making a permanent appointment. For Spartans, a result they'll be delighted with.
Do you see us having results like that throughout the whole season? Some teams moving up and down the table week in, week out?
Yeah, I think what you'll see is the bottom end of the table. I think Dundee United are going to really toil. I think sitting now just with 1 point from the start that they've had, I think you're going to see them really struggle to get away from that position. I think there's 3 or 4 positions, though, just down at that side, it'll be fairly interchangeable teams maybe coming and going. Montrose, Spartans, I think Motherwell and Thistle might be fighting it out for the top 6 place too. I think you'd have expected a wee bit more from Aberdeen, just judging on recent seasons. I think they'll be frustrated.
And a comfortable 3-0 win for Glasgow City over Hibs. After a perfect start to the season, Cara, Hibs have fallen away slightly. They have faced 3 of the top sides in their last 4 weeks and they've dropped points to all 3 of them.
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think obviously they'd had such an impressive start, and I think that the point that they got against Celtic probably almost put the pressure on them, because everyone was looking and going, right, okay, if you can do it against Celtic, then you should be beating Hearts. You can, but I think that it's tough. I think it's good that it's competitive. It shows that there's a competitive side to the league. I think obviously from Glasgow City's point of view, that they sort of silenced any sort of doubts that they aren't still a top one of the top 3s. And I think for both sides, probably, I think it was quite tight for quite long periods of the game. But ultimately, Glasgow City sort of reasserting themselves as a top 3 sides or a title challenger, and I think that Hibs will probably look at it and think, right, okay, that's the first time we've played them, but the next 3 games that we've got potentially against them, what can we do against them?
Was that a much more Glasgow City-esque performance, Alison, from them?
Yeah, I think so, and I think obviously huge for them to be back at Petershill. I think they got a fairly decent crowd yesterday too. I think there's over 500 in, just to see them getting back into their own stadium and familiar surrounds. But I think it is a big win. I think Hibs obviously stuttered hugely against Hearts, but other than take that out of it, and it's been a fairly strong start to the season, and it's what we spoke about at the top end of the programme. You have Hearts and Hibs really toiling now, really grafting to try and close this gap on the top 3, but I think what you've seen from the opening weeks is it's still there. You have this top 3, arguably a top 2. We'll see how it goes on across the course of the campaign, but you have the Rangers, Celtic, Glasgow City, I think, and then you have the Hearts and Hibs, and then everyone else. I do think that there is still quite a chasm between them.
Will squad depth prevail in the end, do you think, no matter how close we get with these?
Absolutely. I think it's 2 things. I think it's squad depth and squad quality. I think when you look at the players that the top 3 have been able to recruit and bring in, I think they are very established international players that they're going in and adding to. They're bringing in players with a bit of pedigree, some European experience coming in. I do think they have the resources that can keep them out in front just now.
And Celtic then, the 1-0 win over Vorskla Poltava. That's a butchering of that pronunciation, but they were unbeaten until Sunday afternoon. Is that quite a scalp for Celtic to take?
I think they would have expected to come through that game. I think they would see themselves as very capable. I think both teams were very much on a level. I think it should have been significantly more comfortable for Celtic. Murphy Agnew scored after just 5 minutes. They created at least 4 other good chances, especially in the second period. The second period they started very well. Within the first opening minutes they created 3 solid opportunities. And of course the danger with that is it's such a fragile scoreline that they almost nicked a level, quite a frantic finale to it. Just the last 5 minutes, Kelsey Docherty really called upon. She had 2 very good saves just in the closing stages of the game. I think 1-0 is tenuous when you look at it. It's half time in the tie. They go again now for the second leg on Thursday. The game will be played in Airdrie again just because of the circumstances around the Ukrainian team that they are not in a position to host, so they get the second leg also played in Airdrie. And I think Celtic need to be clinical. I think they'll need to be sensible and clinical. You need to manage the game. I don't think they want to be going gung-ho in search of a second or third goal that would kill the tie and risk leaving themselves open. But I think there's no question that they do need to go and try and get another goal, because as you saw, I thought they were quite a big, athletic, physical team that they were up against. And I think they would be capable of finding the back of the net. So I think Celtic will know that they're really going to have to take their chances. But what I thought was notable yesterday was that they've never been in this stage of the tournament before. They're within touching distance of the last 16 of the Champions League. It's very elite company to be keeping, and I thought there was a little bit of nerves on show, just a wee bit tentative at points where you sense that players are thinking, we're almost there. And I think having negotiated that first leg, having won it and having created so many chances, what you'd think is that there's maybe a bit of confidence that they can take into the second leg.
What would that mean, Cara, for Celtic to get into that last 16, just for the overall game here in Scotland?
It'd be amazing, yeah. I think, from a player's point of view, playing in the Champions League is amazing. You know, that's what they'll all be absolutely dreaming of. And I think that getting through that first leg yesterday, getting the victory, it puts them in a great place going into Thursday. And I think that it would be great for the game. I think that for the young girls watching that, it'll be so exciting. I think for them, as I said, it'll be such a great achievement. And I think it's in touch and distance now, and it'll be great for Scottish football as well to get ourselves in the last 16 of the Champions League. That's a great place to put ourselves.
Yeah, I don't think there's not been a Scottish team go in since it was reformatted, since there is this group stage format of the tournament. You've not had a Scottish representative in it. I think Glasgow City, the year before COVID, when they got to the quarter-finals of the Champions League, is the last time that you've really had a Scottish team go deep into the tournament, and I think that is because there has been an increase. I think you can see the standard of European football rise hugely across recent seasons. I think that's also been reflected in international results too, so I think it could be hugely important for Celtic and for Scottish football to get into that stage of the last 16. We are talking a very elite bracket. What I would then wonder though for Celtic is how they cope domestically too, because this isn't a squad that's been used to that. They've not had to fight on a two-pronged battle for domestic and European football. It would be interesting to see just how they would cope with that.
And that's not only a challenge for the players, but it's also for Elena Sudoku as well.
Sure, and I think she's been fairly clear. She made a lot of changes last Thursday night when they played Montrose. Now that, you know, they're 3-0 up and went down to 3-2 before winning it fairly comfortably 4-2, but made a lot of changes, and she will have to do that. I think there's no question, if you're going to balance this amount of games with European football too, then you're going to have to utilise the squad. But it was interesting yesterday when Emma Lawton came on for the second period, and I was thinking just that, you know, you've got a player who's, you know, struggling for a game at Motherwell a couple of seasons ago, had a good season at Partick Thistle, and then all of a sudden you find yourself playing in a Champions League qualifier.
Absolutely. Well, it's been quite an intense 7 weeks, a lot of high score lines. We've had an Edinburgh derby already. The table is ever changing, but now we move on to Cup football. Cup weekend, a bit of a break from the league. Cara, does it feel that way?
We've got a really, really tough game against Spartans, so no, it doesn't actually. I mean, it always adds a wee bit of spice, I suppose. You know, a cup fixture. I think it'll be really tough. I think there are some good fixtures in there. From our point of view, the Spartans are coming in with a great victory against Aberdeen to get themselves in a great position in the league table. So it's going to be a really, really tough game, but we're back at Peasy, which for us, we're really looking forward to. I think that having that sort of solid home again will be nice. Get a good crowd there. And yeah, no, we're really looking forward to see how much bigger the pitch is as well. I'm not sure I'm looking forward to that, but we'll see what that's like.
Absolutely. And Alison, Glasgow City and Hearts looks to be one of the toughest ties of all the games.
Yeah, I think that's a pick of the bunch.
Yeah.
Celtic, I think, back up to Montrose. They're on the road again. I think Glasgow City and Hearts is huge. I think Eva Holland was frustrated when they lost that game to City in the opening weeks of the season. I think she felt as though they had done enough to try and take something out of it. So she'll have the bit between her teeth to try and claim a scalp on Sunday.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of the programme. Thanks to Alison and Cara for joining me here today. We'll be back next week with some more action to look forward to. We'll see you then.